sir. Open it one-handed. So spring is here, and we're going to be hatching out some chicken eggs, and Kira's back. So we started out making a decision that we just got to do a little bit of spring cleaning because it's spring, or at least trying to be spring here. We are still getting a little bit of snow, so this is our planning stage. And one of the things that I have really struggled with is the fact that we really don't finish things. It seems like there's just so much to do, and you get things started to a point that you could actually move on to something else and get it started to a point and then move on to the next thing, and things aren't actually getting finished. And it is definitely something that I know bothers you guys too, I think, as much as it does me. So earlier this month, well, the last couple of months, I've actually been trying to put together a list of everything that needs to be done. And I know that I definitely have not gotten everything that needs to be done, but I think I've gotten a big list. I know I've gotten a big list. And I'm really hoping that we can finish a majority of it. I think, of course, the end goal would be to get everything done, but I don't know how possible that is because we're definitely just the two of us, and with the health issues that we've been dealing with and those kinds of things, it does slow everything down. So we really did the very first step that we can do, which is getting it all figured out exactly what's the most important. So what I did was I went into every room and I just looked around and tried to figure out exactly what needed to be done for that room to be done. And there's a lot to do. So when I made this list, I basically just started out with like living room, and then put everything in the living room that I need to do, and then kitchen and everything that needs to be done in the kitchen. And there are some things that absolutely have to be done this year that are going to take priority. I have to get the animals' living quarters, the barn, built so that they have better shelter for the wintertime. And the very thrown together carport that we put together 4 years ago, I'm pretty surprised that it is still standing, but it's done great. And they go in there and they have stayed dried, and it has served its purpose. But there is definitely this thing that happens when everything is temporary. It really is draining to me to pull up in here and not have a nice barn for my animals to be in, or the driveway done, or the tiny house done. So it has made it harder to want to get started and to want to work on things. So putting together this list and really laying it out, I think, is going to make a difference. So I took a break and started lunch. Now, Kira and I are both doing carnivore to the best of our abilities. Me for my health issues with the RA and possibly lupus, and her with her autism. This was actually a diet that was recommended by a doctor of hers a long time ago, either carnivore or keto. And we've kind of done mostly keto until this year, where I've gotten sick, and the diet that was absolutely recommended for me for arthritis or lupus, any kind of autoimmune, is actually the carnivore diet. And this is pizza. So at least once in a while, I don't do this very often because this is an awful lot of cheese, and you really want to do more meat than you do cheese, but cheese is on the carnivore diet. But I do try to limit that. Now, one of the things that you would want to do is not use pre-bagged cheese unless you wash it, because they do put something on that to keep it from clumping together. I did not do that, but just in the future, we definitely will be grating our own cheese, especially now that the KitchenAid is in its own little spot, and I can get the cheese grater that goes on the KitchenAid. I really have to be aware of how much I'm doing with my hands, because I have a lot of pain in my hands all the time. So one of the things that when I've been studying this diet that I found, which I think is really, really interesting, is that the best meat to help cure your autoimmune is actually coon pork that is grass-fed, not grain-fed, and lamb. Those two meats have a lot of the things that we need to help heal our gut and help us do better. So I do have 3 sheep that I'm going to be processing, and we won't have any coon pigs to process until next year. So I'll definitely be doing the best that I can, and really trying to stick to more grass-fed animals to help heal the health disorders. I do truly notice a difference in my brain functioning and in Kira's brain functioning and understanding, and just I sleep better, I feel better. I definitely have a lot less pain when I'm eating this way versus the standard American diet. It's really amazing to me the amount of chemicals that are in everything, and I'm really glad that that is being addressed at the highest level possible, because if you can't grow your own food and raise your own meat, I mean, what are you supposed to do? It takes a year of raising an animal to be able to, most animals, to be able to start processing and eating them. And so what do you do until then? So, I'm really hoping that things change so that maybe those of us that are really struggling with health issues can just go to the grocery store and shop and actually purchase things that aren't going to cause us to have more pain and more issues. So I did put mushrooms on these because I had an impulse buy and bought mushrooms the other day. So I only put them on mine. Kira does not like mushrooms. I love them, and I definitely want to set up some mushroom growing areas here on the property because I absolutely love mushrooms. They are not part of the carnivore diet though, so if you're being extremely strict, but they are part of keto, and I do bounce back and forth between the two. I think the biggest thing that I'm struggling with carnivore is the protein shakes and them not being super good for you. But here they are, and these are amazing. They're crunchy on the outside and nice and yummy and gooey on the inside, so it fits the bill. So transferring all of the things that I had on my list onto this bigger board really was a lot of work. But I wanted something that I could hang up on the wall, that we could look at and that we could mark things off as we go. And the other thing about it being right in the way or on the wall to where you can see it on a regular basis is if you have an hour to do something, it would be really easy to look up in there and go, oh, I need to, do this one thing that would take me an hour, so I'm going to jump on it and do it and then mark it off, instead of looking at, I have the whole kitchen to do, but breaking down into these smaller pieces. Maybe I can do one little thing a day, and in those little time spaces that I have that I'm just really not doing much at all. So I think this is going to help. Well, I know it's going to help. I used to have lists all the time, and I basically ran my life off of lists. And I have gotten away from that a few years ago, and I'm excited to get back to it so that maybe we will be more productive and actually finish some things, do some things from start to finish. I'm excited for this year. I hope that you guys come along the journey and see if we actually finish this list. It's a big one, and there's a lot of stuff, and there's just the two of us, and maybe we'll get help from here, here and there from friends, but I don't know. We'll see. I came out to see the sunset, and this is something that I don't do a lot anymore, is enjoy this view. And this was the whole reason for purchasing this piece of property, was the view of the lake and the mountains. And as you can see, the snow is melting away and the lake has thawed out, and spring is here. This year is here. We only have 5 to 6 months of working time in this area before it gets cold again. So there's so much to do, but you definitely see the wreckage of winter and what you did and or didn't get done when everything starts thawing out.
Well, hi.
And mud season shows back up, which this lasts a little while. I think one of the hardest things on a homestead is, where do you put the extra little things like fencing and stuff like that? You tarp something, the tarp gets pulled off, it gets covered in snow, and then you find it again in the spring when it looks like this. Or the pallet that a bale of hay was on, and they've eaten all the hay, but the pallet's still laying in the field. I definitely want to address those things this year, because I don't want to come back next spring and not get to enjoy my little new babies without seeing all the junk all over the place. So thanks for hanging out with me today, and I hope that you guys are getting the things done on your homestead this year that you are wanting to get done. I feel like we're going to have a really successful year this year, and I know that we're going to have access to machinery, so that should absolutely help me finish the things that I need to get finished. Have a fantastic week, and we hope to see you on the next one. Definitely leave me a comment saying hi and what you're planning on doing this year that maybe you didn't get done last year.